Everybody, welcome back to the Purple Friday Show, episode 246. We are here after a Ravens win. Jerry Jeudy and Grant Delpit did all that talking during the week and didn't even show up. Didn't show up. Ravens did what everyone, and Derrick Henry didn't have a great game. Derrick Henry didn't have a great game. Didn't need stiff arm anybody. Lamar Jackson did all the work. It was the 30th anniversary game for the Ravens. So obviously we saw the Grace imagery in the backfield. It would have been better if the Ravens were able to have the original, uniform on for that game. But for those people that don't know, there was a lawsuit, I think the Ravens filed back in 2010, 2011 with the original artist that they tried to get the logo basically with the team, but the judge ruled in the artist's favor. So since 2010, 2011, that person has owned the rights to that original, the logo with the bee shield with the wings coming out of it. So it would have been nice, to have, the original throwback, because I feel like everybody else has throwbacks about the Ravens. And it's funny because I think a lot of newer Ravens fans don't remember the old logo. Like, it was literally only around for 3 years? I think they changed it in 99?
Like 98, 99,
Yeah. So they didn't have it that long. I mean, it was awful. It was an awful logo. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But in the era of bringing throwbacks back, it would have been nice to see one time.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the team. We needed it back.
Yeah. So, and, it would have been nice to bring back, guys like Derek Alexander or Michael Jackson and Ernest Biner.
Vinny Testaverde.
Peter Boulware. Yeah, bring back some of those guys for that. That would have been nice. But anyway, the Ravens got the W, scored, 41 points in that game. Lamar Jackson doing his Lamar Jackson stuff. Didn't have a crazy, game throwing wise, 19 of 29, 225 yards for 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry had 11 rushing attempts for 23 yards, and Zay Flowers led the team with 7 catches for 75 yards, but 2 touchdowns by Devontae Walker and a touchdown by DeAndre Hopkins as well, and also one by Tylan Wallace. But also Lamar Jackson did become, I think, is leading now career-wise, has the best passer rating right now of all time. No one's really saying anything about it. Everybody's just, kind of glancing over it, but he, for him not being quarterbacky or whatever that, term was used around him. And he has, now has the best quarterback rating of some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, that we've seen over 100 years of NFL football.
Not bad for a running back.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Not bad for a running back.
Offensively, I think we saw in that first half, they definitely struggled a lot. They were running the ball. It appears, I will say, I think against more physical defensive lines, it's going to be tough for the Ravens to push, to get to that second level. It just felt like they were getting pushed constantly in the bit of backfield. There was nowhere for Derrick Henry to run. It's going to be interesting to see if they have to do more of a zone run scheme, get these guys out in space, moving them around to the right, to the left, and stuff like that, just to get movement. Because just going straight up, they just, that was a struggle. Also, what we saw too, Myles Garrett, being a one-man wrecking crew. They were lining him up. I don't know if you noticed, on pretty much every side of the ball, but also constantly had him lined up over Falele. They constantly had him lined up over Falele on 77, just giving him work all day. And you can tell if teams have a guy like, not necessarily a Myles Garrett, but a pass rusher specialist type, they're going to be lining up on 77. It feels like every week. So Not sure they got to do that to shore that up or whatever, work on technique or something. It's going to be something to watch going forward. Now, when Ricard gets back, I feel like he plays more of a role, adding that extra 300-pounder, there, put him in, those, heavy sets and things like that, maybe giving Falele some help there. Well, the DeAndre Hopkins, the touchdown, not just a touchdown, but both passes he caught in that game, passes that most wide receivers don't catch. And, I was watching the guys at Nitty Gritty this morning, and I was just like, they were saying if this is washed, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
If this is him washed, then I'll take it. I mean, we know he's not going to be leading the league in receiving yards or receptions this year, but it's very clear that Lamar already trusts him. And is, if it's one-on-one, it's a wrap. Lamar's going to get him the ball if it's one-on-one. DeAndre Hopkins just has a way of finding the ball. He just has a way. Like, it doesn't. He just knows. No matter if players are messing with his face mask or messing with his hands, he finds a way to catch the football. Even I think there was that one play down the sideline earlier in the game where DeAndre did draw a pass interference call, and I remember in the chat I was like, "That's how you draw pass interference." Like, I hope Bateman and Flowers are watching that. That's how you draw pass interference on a play. And for a veteran wide receiver to get those, if they're going to give you 30 yards or whatever on pass interference, you got to take that if you can. So love that from him. Love that from him there. Obviously, Keaton Mitchell again this week. I don't know at this point if he's ever going to see the field, but obviously with Ali leaving the game with a concussion, maybe we do see more Keaton Mitchell at this point. Maybe Harbaugh has no choice but to at least start him this week. So we'll see if we see a Keaton Mitchell signing as well. Defensively, a phenomenal game from the defense. Loved seeing Ray Lewis kind of chatting up Rowe right before they went out the tunnel and telling him 60 minutes, man. 60 minutes, go out there and play. And Roquan looked the part. Like, he looked faster. He didn't look sluggish. He was all over the field, making plays in the backfield. He was hitting guys over the middle, pause. And, just, maybe the forced fumble, that he got, the fumble that, who calls that fumble? Tavius Robinson? Tavius Robinson forced the fumble, and Roquan said he went back to his high school days where he played running back and ran down the field, scored a touchdown. But that was what they needed. What they needed. I don't know if that was the only time that Ray and them talked, during the week or whatever, but it definitely felt like the conversation the defense had, at dinner or whatever it was during the week, to get themselves right for this week. It worked. They played a lot better. The line was getting pressure. Matty Bike looked pretty good. Travis Jones looked good. Oweh still Oweh. There was a couple instances where he was being held and looked like he was gonna get a sack, but he got held on those plays. And there was a couple times I saw him on the sideline frustrated because he's like, I know I got the sack, but it's not gonna count against, it's not gonna count in the stat sheet for me. That was a sack, but I'm not gonna count in the stat sheet. So secondary looked good. Nate Wiggins, again, love the way he's just, following the ball. Flacco trying to throw it down the sideline, and there was Nate running down the sideline there. Need him to get a little bit faster. I don't need him getting tackled by offensive linemen. We don't like that. I'm pretty sure they were getting on him about that. But no, the Ravens got turnovers, the block punt by the special teams. It was a complete football game. One thing I will say about the offense, before I turn it over to you, is I did not like the series that they had, I think, at the goal line where they went, what was it, 3 and out? Or four, did they go 3 and out? There was the drive where they ended up kicking a field goal early on. They ended up having the same situation later, but they went up going for it, and I think they scored a touchdown. But having Derrick Henry there on the half-yard line and not utilizing him just seemed – we've seen this before. This isn't the first time this has happened. We've seen this before. The Ravens are right there on the goal line and not using your, goal line, touchdown machine in Derrick Henry. And I just don't understand, too, why the Ravens don't utilize more of RPO with Lamar and Derrick that close to the goal line. Give the defense different looks to look at, whether do they sell out trying to stop Derrick or they sell out trying to stop Lamar. Right. They got to pick one. And it's like more times than not, if you have 3 shots at it, you're going to most time 9 times out of 10 to probably get those touchdowns. I just don't like them trying to get cute and just straight up pass plays, with that short of a field and not being much space for the wide receivers to run around in. You have that much talent there in the backfield with Derrick Henry and Lamar. Let them, fake out the defense and, force them to pick somebody to guard. And maybe in that point, because of how quick Lamar is, if he sees them cheating over to the right or left with, Derrick, then he can obviously go to the other side and just score easy touchdowns. So do more of that. I'm just tired of them playing get cute here. But all in all, complete game for the Ravens.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I was super happy getting that 40 burger. And Corey, I don't know if you remember last week. Did I call 41-17? I know I
Yeah, you
called
definitely
41,
called for it. I was surprised by that. I was like, whoa. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
I called 41, but I don't know if I called 17. So I was seeing if Corey remembered because I don't. Um, but hey, this was a great game. I I was very unhappy early. I felt like we were sleepwalking early in the first half. Um, it felt like this was about to be another one of those setups where this is going to be a high stress, high blood pressure game. But then we got it together. We definitely got it together. I think the red zone opportunity where we just had bad play calling, in my opinion, um, was when DeAndre caught that first pass and we thought it was a touchdown, but he was down to one, and we wasted that opportunity. I remember in the chat, I was like, "Why did we give it to Derek on the first play?" And I think we were talking about like how he had been getting stuffed that game. Pause. But why not just try to give him the ball on the 1 yard line? Because at the end of the day, he's still Derrick Henry. You got to give him a shot. Um, but overall, like offensively, I'm okay. But falafel, come here, right here, right now. Some of the worst footwork I have seen in a long time. I know everybody watching this has this seen the clip of him just letting I don't know if it was Mason Graham or Miles Garrett. I can't remember. It was just a Browns defensive line player just go right around him and falafel just stand there like just standing there, like not doing nothing. Hold the guy at least because I think he sacked Lamar on that play or something, or it may have been the Derrick Henry fumble. But um, Falafel just looked lost. Like he doesn't know how to block. Like he can't move his feet. And the thing is, Miles, like I think we could be a physical offensive line. We just got to get to the block. I think that's the problem. And I think it's mainly with falafel. I think Linderbaum at times can get off course, but for the most part, he's solid. But I think the weakness of the line overall is falafel. I'm not going to call him by his real name anymore. He's falafel until further notice. Granted, Ronnie Stanley did not have a good day, but it's Miles Garrett. Like, and they were battling out there, and you know, you have to live with Miles Garrett being Miles Garrett sometimes, and just try to game plan around it. Um, and yeah, they kept putting him on top of the guards, and I'm telling you what, when we play the Packers, they're going to line Micah Parsons right over Falafel because they did that against who they play in their first game. Gosh, whoever they played
Ed
in their
Oliver. They had Ed Oliver over.
no. Who did the Packers play in their first game?
Oh,
Where Micah
Packers.
Parsons.
They played not the Vikings. The who did the Packers play in that first game?
I can't remember to save my life, but they put Micah Parsons right over their guards and just let them at it. Like so, I can see teams starting to do that. I don't know if the Lions are gonna look at that and move Aiden Hutchinson around because he's looking a little sluggish coming back from his injury, but teams may look at that like,
Oh, that
hey,
was a Lions game. That
Rose
was a Lions.
Rosengarten's pretty solid for the most part. Like he has his
Yeah,
moments where he's not after it, but he's solid for the most part. Linderbaum's solid. Voorhees has been pretty solid to start the season. Stanley's been up and down, but once again, it's Miles Garrett. But teams are going to attack Falafel every single
yeah.
game, and we saw it in this game. So we need an answer for that. Whether it's going go pull up at Brandon Sheriff's house and get him out of retirement, or we need to figure something. We need to figure something out. But outside of that, absolutely love Zay Flowers coming in looking like an all pro receiver these first 2 weeks. Um I think we're seeing how we should have been using Zay. I think, there's sprinkles of gadget play, but they're letting him go out there, run routes, getting him in space. Zay is Zay and Lamar with the drag route is like a given. It's like that's going to be a first down because Lamar, he loves working the middle of the field. And Zay, when he gets across that field, you get him in space, he's going to be wide open and he can make something happen after the catch. So that's going to be there time and time again. Um, Yeah, I think he has put on more muscle. He's not in his Hollywood Brown era. But overall, like I'm really happy with Zay. I think I'm really happy with the depth we had at receiver because then we talked about it in the chat. Like our third and fourth receiver, well, our fourth and fifth receivers had I think all of our touchdowns or most of our touchdowns. No, our third, fourth, and fifth receivers had all of our touchdowns, but our fourth and fifth receiver had three of our four touchdowns. So um, I'm happy with that. Like that's something we never really see in Ravens history, like where we have this much depth where our ladder receivers are just getting off. So I'm really happy with the depth. Those guys look good. Um, I'm a little concerned at running back. Justice Hill hasn't looked great this year. He hasn't. It's early. It's 2 games in, but he hasn't looked great. Ali got hurt. I don't know the extent of the injury. I haven't checked the injury report, but I don't know the extent of it. So, who is going to be that guy to spell Derrick Henry? Because we go with Justice Hill for his pass blocking prowess, which honestly makes it seem like, we know what the play is going to be when Justice Hill comes in the game. Um, and then Keith Mitchell seems to be in the doghouse. So what are we about to do there? And then, I'm hoping we get Likely back this week because, I mean, I think Corey just said in the chat, we need an APP out on Mark Andrews. Where is he at? Seems like he's just not a part of the game plan at all. He's like totally become a blocking tight end. So those things are concerning me. But let me flip over to the defense because I don't want to take all this time up. Defense, I love the way they went after the ball. You said it, Wiggins, he's been playing great. Love the play that he made. Hate that he got walked, but yeah, he did look kind of slow with the ball in his hands. Never seen him look that slow before. Roquan, I don't know where you got that speed from. If you took some anabolics,
He
let
took
us
that
know.
Ray gave him that deer antler spray. That's what happened.
hey,
Ray gave him that
hey,
deer antler
hey,
spray.
Hey, spread on you every week. Spray as much as you need. Pause. But yeah, I think I was pleased. I think I just still want to see more from the pass rush. I know we got more rush and there was a lot of holes this week, but I just feel like we're getting pushed too slow. Every time I watch, I like this week against the Browns, I was truly just watching the edge rushers and the defensive line. It just seemed like the pocket collapses so slow. Like we are just not getting off the ball. We're not getting penetration quick. It's just so slow. But outside of that, man, Kyle Hamilton, Defensive Player of the Year, making plays all over the field. The one part I got to talk about is my man Marlowe. My man Marlowe should have batted that ball down. Selfishly
Yeah,
went for his 20th career interception, went through his hands and gave up a touchdown. Marlowe, you know
it's the
better.
second time now
You
in
know
2 weeks
better,
the
bro.
Ravens have had these tip passes in the end zone that have not gone in their favor.
Yeah,
Ravens just
yeah.
need to knock those down now, like it's a
Just
trend.
knock, just
It's a
knock it
trend.
down, bro. Or go get on the jug machine with Wiggins because Wiggins'
Yeah,
hands are
Wiggins
great.
caught that.
Pause.
Wiggins was going to the sideline, jumped up and caught it kind of off by like yeah.
Yeah,
You and Kyle, because I remember Kyle last year had that drop against the Bengals. Right.
yeah. If you ain't catching it like Wiggins, man, don't even go for it. Just knock it down.
No.
But
And he
hey,
should have in the
overall,
first place
super
because
happy.
it was fourth down. You didn't need to catch that. It was fourth down. Just that's not the field
Down.
placement that you were going to catch the ball at was worse than what the Brown where they were at. Like just knock
Yeah,
it
we would have
down.
had it at the 2 yard line as opposed to what was like the 15 or the 20.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Knock it down.
But since we mentioned that, about Mark Andrews, that was the next topic. Like, where in the world is Mark Andrews? We saw, was it last year when he came off of that leg injury? I think it was a leg injury he came off of last year. And he was out for like 5 to 6 weeks still. And then when we came back, he was automatically inserted into the offense immediately. This time, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if likely does play, because I think they play Monday night, so I don't think they'll have an injury report till tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be the first injury report of the week. It'll be interesting to see if likely it does play, and Lamar just starts targeting likely, like often. Then we're like, something's up. Something's up. That either Lamar is not that doesn't trust Marco at all, or the Ravens are trying to save Mark for the trade deadline and trading him.
Yeah.
Which if they go they go another week here against the Lions, another week where Mark Andrews only gets like one target or whatever and never looked at again. I'm like, they're trying to save him. They're trying to trade him before the trade deadline for something.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised. They're trying to trade him because again, he's up for a contract, and it may seem that likely he's going to get the money. I think we've seen in too many critical moments now where Mark Andrews has dropped the ball. Well, I won't even say that. Lamar did throw him a touchdown in the back of the end zone, but he got it punched out. He got it punched out in the back of the end zone. That drive where they ended up having to kick a field goal, I'm like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm like, it should have been a touchdown because Lamar, one, I think, threw it to Dez or Tylen, and they dropped it. They dropped the ball. And then Mark Andrews catches the ball in the back of the end zone, but then because he doesn't make a football move, gets punched out, and they call it an incomplete pass. So,
yep.
But it does between the 20s and the 20s, it feels like, yeah, Mark is not really getting involved at all. Tylen's getting the ball. Tez Walker's getting the ball. D-Hop is getting the ball. Like everybody else is getting the ball, but Mark, who is in a lot of people's eyes, a top 3 tight end in the league. So it's got to wonder, like, why, and especially in for people that are familiar with Todd Monken's offense, like especially when he ran in Georgia, he's known for running 2 tight end sets with Darnell Washington there and Brock Bowers. That was his bag. Those 2 tight end sets and finding a way to get those tight ends in space to make plays down the field. And the fact that Mark Andrews hasn't been utilized at all in the pass game makes me believe that, again, if we go into Monday night and Mark Andrews has another stat line like he's had the last 2 weeks, they're saving him. They're letting him run around. They're letting him get his feet under him so he stays in shape and everything. But that would tell me the Ravens are probably getting ready to move on from Mark Andrews and trade him, either for picks or players now. I'm not sure what that package would look like, but I would think the Ravens are making a decision and maybe sticking with Likely. That has to be my only explanation. I don't think he's hurt. He's not showing up on injury reports or anything. He's not hurt or anything. So it has to probably let me know that the Ravens are saving him probably for trade bait come like week 6, week 7.
It honestly makes you wonder the value of the tight end in our offense now, because when you look at Likely, he's used more as a wide receiver than Andrews when they were both on the field, and more in the slot than Andrews. Like, you really started seeing Andrews coming out of the traditional tight end spot. So I wonder the value of the tight end. Like, it looks like it's more in a blocking role now this year, and we're truly just like going 3 wides when we're really wanting to like open up the defense and really make some big plays. So I just wonder how valuable he is with this offense in its current iteration, especially when you see us throwing to all these different receivers making plays. It seems like the receivers are more valued. The receivers are a bigger part of the offense. So the tight end, like, this ain't the Greg Roman era no more, where we're going 4 or 5 tight ends and not even throwing to the receivers. So I just wonder the value of it all, of that role. I don't know. Mark Andrews, I don't know if they're saving him for the playoffs. I kind of align with the thinking of they're saving him for a trade. The Roquan restructure combined with the lack of use of Mark Andrews, it has me doing my my Brian Windhorst, my what's happening in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Max Crosby may be on the market. They're 0-2.
Yeah, the Raider situation is not looking as good as we thought. Ashton Genty's not playing well right now, and Geno Smith is not looking good. And you're right. I mean, if you got Brock Bowers, now they already got Brock Bowers though. Do you think they would go ahead and trade for Mark Andrews?
I can see it being a piece, mentorship. I mean, and they like 2 tight ends. I mean, Mayer over there isn't much of a player anymore. So I could see them rocking 2 tight ends with Mark Andrews and Brock Bowers. I mean, Brock Bowers is a wide receiver. I don't care. He's just a big
Yeah,
wide receiver. I mean, you get some mentorship from Mark Andrews, that's great. But then I think it helps their offense because they don't have a lot of receivers, and I
yeah.
think
Need more targets. Yeah.
they can use more big targets. So
Yeah, Corey was like, does that leave space at that point for a Lamar extension? Like, I think for sure. I think everything that we've seen, like I said, that's why I think we have said this is probably the best year to get it done. Like, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces in the end of the season just because of money. Lamar's going to need some new money. They got to do something. They paid Kyle, but they're going to have to pay likely. You got to do something with, does Roquan stay around, at the price he's at? I know they've, convert some of his money, but does he get a new deal at some point? Zay Flowers is going to need some money. They're still going to have to address the O line. That I think they're realizing they can't stay pat where it is. They're going to have to probably, if they don't go in the draft and get somebody, they're going to have to sign somebody free agency in that right side for sure. Linderbaum, I think he needs a contract as well. So I mean, yeah, it's be some moving pieces, and the guy's going to be lost in the sauce, so to speak, when it comes to contracts. There's only but so much money to go around. So this is the year to get it done. Like you're right. I don't think the Ravens need to stick around long enough to hope for Lele works. Like if Brandon Sheriff is there, the veteran presence, kind of like what McKinney did for us. Bryant McKinney did at left tackle for us during that Super Bowl run, bringing that veteran presence into that middle of that line. I think what we've seen Rosengarten when he's had bad plays, I think it's because he's trying to help Falele. Falele misses his guy, and he's trying to help cover for him. So I think if I know Linderbaum's got his guy, I know Stanley's got his guy, and Voorhees got his guy. Having that, I think that's one of the most important thing when they talk about the trenches being essentially like the biggest piece of having a championship team. When you have an O line, especially, and that line, that chain in the link that link in the chain is broken like that, it messes up the whole flow for everything. Guys can't focus on their where I got to go get him because he let him through, or I got to help him double. And so yeah, I think having a veteran presence in there, and plus to help out the guys on the right, helping Rosengarten because it's only his second year playing, and it's helping Linderbaum. He's still only this is his third year in the league. Learning from a guy like Brandon Sheriff, who's been a veteran in this league, would be paramount. I think knowledge-wise for that O line, not paramount. Now they gotta get him. They gotta get him running though, because if Derrick Henry's in there, Derrick Henry and Lamar back there, I don't know if he's been used to that. He was there with the Skins, right? When RG3 was there, I think Brandon Sheriff. So but he's a little bit older.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if they go, knock under there. Maybe I think they give Falele the experiment one more week, and I think they have to go make some calls and stuff. So. We'll see what happens.
They need to make some calls this week because the lines are coming up.
Yeah,
lines are definitely coming up.
Yeah. So we'll do our bells and pookies this week. Let me get my picture up. Make sure I got the right picture. Our bells and pookies. All right. So I'll do one bell for the Ravens and I'll do a bell for somebody else. Bell this week definitely goes to Tez Walker. Just love to see it. We've been campaigning for that guy since week 13, 10 or 12 last year. I think he caught that one touchdown. I think that was against the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was against the Giants. I think it was.
Yeah.
And we were like, get that guy more catches. And I remember watching Steve Smith's breakdown of Tez, and it said, with a little work, he can be, a serious deep threat in this league. And look, I think that Lamar, it's clear that the deep ball for him is getting a lot better. He's placing it a lot better, especially like the throws to you saw the DeAndre Hopkins as well. But having that trust in Tez early in the season can only make things better. I think going forward, it can only just boost his confidence, going forward. So shout out to Tez Walker, for doing his thing in that game. Another bell that I want to give is to Baker Mayfield. That Tampa Bay game. That last drive, man. The one where he looked like he broke his knee, and then fixed it like on the fly. It looked like he got hit, like he broke his knee and started talking trash to the cornerback that hit him. But he had a phenomenal drive to get down the field and get the win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The guy's just a gamer, man. He is. It's gonna be an interesting division with the Falcons, I think, with Michael Penix and him going at it. But with the running back the group they have there, to Bucky Irving, two in the backfield. Look, I don't know how it's gonna work out, but the Ravens need to make sure that dude's a Raven next year. I don't know how it needs to happen. If Derrick Henry decides to hang it up next season, they need to get Bucky Irving into a Ravens uniform. That is a Ravens running back right there.
Yeah,
but shout out to Baker Mayfield.
You took my one of my bells, so I'm gonna go with Mac Jones. He stepped up for the 49ers and played a dang near flawless game. I mean, I think he put up almost 300 yards, no picks. Was pretty accurate for the most part. Granted, it's the Saints; they're awful, but way to just step in there for Brock Purdy, make some big throws. So, big shout out to Mac Jones. And then I'll say on the Ravens, it's kind of tough, but let me go with Ty Wallace since we're going backup receivers. He just makes a big play every year. Whenever we need a play, he makes it. He may not be a number one receiver, but he's a guy you can plug in all the time, and he's going to either block for you, make a big play blocking, or he's going to make a big play in the return game, or as a receiver. So I'll give my other belt to Ty Wallace.
Now, I have two Pookies, right? I have two Pookies. J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings, right? And who was it that I had? It was Caleb Williams with the Bears.
Oh man, yeah.
J.J. McCarthy might be bad. Oh, actually, I have a third Pookie too, but this is college football, really. Arch Manning. I'm sorry, but Arch Manning, the hype may not be. I'm not saying he's not going to be good when it's all said and done, but right now, with all that hype that was around him going into this season, he needs some work. There's no way he should have struggled against UTEP the way he did.
Yeah,
he struggled. Everybody was hoping, this is going to be the next 3 games we're going to play against these cupcake teams, and we're going to ball out. I think Texas needs to roll back their national championship aspirations for this season. We'll see what happens next year. But no, J.J. McCarthy and Caleb. I don't know. JJ, I kind of understand because he was out all last year. Like he couldn't. It's not like he could practice or anything. Like he was hurt. He couldn't really do anything. So this is really truly his rookie year. However, I did watch. When he was like kind of the starter for those 2 years at Michigan, and he wasn't that good of a quarterback. He kind of reminded me a lot of those Alabama QBs. He had a very good running game there, great defense, and decent wide receivers. And he kind of got overlooked, not overlooked, but kind of, went under the radar because he was a part of a national championship team. And the Vikings draft him, and Jetta is I don't know again how long they were 2 years into this deal. They did draft him in the first round. They're paying him a lot of money. It's one of those, because we know how these windows are only but so open for teams. The Lions, both coordinators are gone right now. The Packers appear to be taking that lead right now in the NFC North. The Bears are the Bears. But the Vikings are like, we could be in that second spot right now. We could be there. But the way JJ is playing, we could literally let the Lions take it just by default because, they got Jahmyr Gibbs and they got Amon-Ra St. Brown and all the rest of those guys. We got the talent to get it done. It's just our quarterback is just not making the plays. And then, go to Caleb. They put everything around you, man. They got the quarterback. I mean, they got the quarter, the Ben Johnson, Guru, who built that Lions offense. You get Roma Dunze, who was going off even in the loss. He was going off even in the loss. You still got Swift there. You got all this talent, and it's just not getting it done. Not getting it
Not
done.
at all.
So yeah, those are my bells, man. Again, they're going to be looking. It's been since Lamar Jackson. These quarterback drafts have been a little
shaky, to say the least.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Jets offense.
Oh yeah,
that was some of the worst offense I've seen in a while.
They were bad.
Yeah, I just don't know what. I mean, Justin Fields looked bad before the concussion. You know, they couldn't block, they couldn't run the ball. Brees Hall struggling. They couldn't get the ball enough to Garrett Wilson. And they didn't have anybody else step up. That offense looked awful. And I feel bad for the defense. Now, granted, defense ain't played great, but they were out there trying. They're out there trying. You know, the Bills just kind of ran the ball down their throat. Pause. But what else? I mean, they were tired. I mean, the offense couldn't stay on the field, so they were tired. So, I mean, that just offense looked awful. I think they had like 120 yards of total offense. 120 yards.
That's
crazy.
Corey said
James Cook had more.
Is Tyrod getting a start this week?
Yeah, he probably is. Justin
because he got the
cold.
Concussion.
Yeah, he got knocked cold.
Yeah,
so that's probably my my one Pookie, and the other one it got to be Marlo, bro. I got to get you. You were talking about
you can't, man.
You were talking about maturity. That was an immature play.
Immature play.
Going for the pick on
selfish.
4th down.
Being selfish.
Yeah. You got to go to Marlo. So those are my picks.
I know Marlon and them were probably messing with Nate. You got walked down, and Nate was like, "At least I caught mine. At least I caught my interception." Yeah, the one I caught was a lot harder than one that one was right here, right here, and you just okay. I'll give another Pookie before I move on. Though another Pookie goes to Bengals fans. The coach I have been hearing all week about Jake Browning we're good. We're straight. We got Drake Browning. He's going to win us some games and he's going to be good. Look, man, he had all these records. They had to go back to his high school records. They were like, this man had all these records in high school football. He's going to be good, man. He's going to be straight. I'm like, correct me if I'm wrong. But isn't Jake Browning going to be the same, playing behind that same O-line that got Joe Burrow jacked up? Unless things have changed in the last 48 hours, he's going to be playing behind that same O-line that got Joe Burrow jacked up. How long you think he's going to last?
Yeah.
And do you think he can, after a while, accurately throw to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
No. He threw 3 picks.
He's a backup for a reason. Everybody, they're expecting him now, man. He just need a chance. Remember, Kurt Warner got a chance. Chad Ochocinco was on Nightcap the other night talking about it. He was like, man, Kurt Warner got a chance like that. And, Rich Gannon got a chance like that. I was like, dude, it's okay to admit the season's over, man.
Yeah.
We know if Lamar went down, knock on wood, that the season's over. Yeah, we may win a few games here and there, but we ain't winning the Super Bowl. That ain't happening. Like, we can understand that. They can't. I'll say this for Joe Burrow. I hate it when they get on players for being injured. It's hard to stay healthy when you're playing such a physical game like football. Some guys, and especially with the Joe Burrow's injuries, like he got injured, he tore his knee in his first year, and it hasn't been the same injury. Then he had that weird elbow injury a couple of years ago, that weird one. They basically said it was like a baseball type injury, and then this one he gets turf toe. Like the grade 3 sprain or whatever it was that he needs surgery on. And I'll ask you this. They've been doing the Andrew Luck thing. Talk with him about him. With how many injuries he's been hurt now, season-ending injuries, 3 of the last 5 years that he's played.
Yeah.
They're committing a lot of money to him, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I don't know if Joe
Almost
Burrow's like Andrew and just give up. Like it just, I'm not say give up, but like I'm just gonna retire and stop playing. But it's one of those things you got to take into consideration. It's like you can't guarantee he's gonna be in the field. When he gets hurt, it appears when he gets hurt, he's hurt for a long time. Like he's down. Like if you're, I'll give you two scenarios. If they're the Bengals, what do you do? If you're Joe Burrow, what do you do?
If you're the Bengals, because this upcoming draft class don't look great, you gotta wait and see. You gotta at least another year because they don't have the money to go get somebody in free agency. And next year's QB class is looking very sus right now based upon what I've seen in this college football season.
Yeah.
So I think you got to hold on for dear life to Joe Burrow. But if you're Joe Burrow, I think you got to have a hard, long talk with your team and with the Bengals and let the Bengals know, put them on notice that this offensive line needs work and you're not going to continue to take these beatings. He's going to probably go the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady route and just fold. And then
he's
maybe
I'm
also
not
talk
going
with
to run
your
around
team.
anymore. I'm just going to fall down on the ground.
Yeah. And maybe talk with your team and ask for a trade request.
Something.
I know that sounds crazy.
That's been floating around too. I think Joe Burrow, the talent is there. We've seen it. Joe Burrow, like we saw last year, if the Bengals had made the playoffs, he might have won MVP last year with the amount of numbers, with the numbers he was throwing up towards the end of this. Like it was ridiculous the numbers he was throwing up last season, with no defense. And this is basically on the. I know they want to. Again, I hate it when some of these journalists or whatever blame players for getting hurt. He can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. Some guys just can't. It is what it is. Some guys they get hurt all the time. It happens. It's just part of the sport. It happens. Look at Paul George and his leg, and stuff. He hasn't been right since that injury. So I'm like, it's when you're playing a physical game like football, it's one of those things. He's got to stay healthy. I'm like, well, it's kind of hard to stay healthy when you're, getting hit by, a 300-pound guy in the leg, like, and he's landing on your foot. That's how he got hurt. Like he was trying to kind of squirm away, run away or whatever, and the guy landed on his ankle and that's where he broke his toe, right there. So I'm like, it's kind of difficult to kind of deal with something like that. It's kind of when you go out there playing football, you kind of just kind of pray and keep your fingers crossed that nothing bad happened to you. To be honest, so I don't think it's Joe Burrow's fault. I think again it's malpractice. Or they spent all this time and effort into retaining T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and did nothing about that O-line. Did nothing
at all.
But that again, I think goes to show why it's important for general managers to know what the team needs versus being held hostage by its players. Of course, Joe Burrow wanted Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but a smart GM would have said, "Look, I know you want. We can keep Jamar. I don't know about T. They should have honestly traded T. Higgins and gotten some picks or something during the draft to get some O-line help.
Yeah,
that would have helped. That would have helped. He would have been upset and like, you know what? Thanks, guys. That's why you don't respond, I think, the way the Bengals did in giving both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase those kind of contracts.
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense. I was like, he needs O-line help. That's what he needs. So, again, a smart GM would have been like, okay, look, we can keep Jamar Chase, but we're going to trade T. We're going to trade T, get some picks. We'll get some good picks for him. Get a high second-round pick, and maybe a third and a fourth or something like that for T.
Yeah.
And we'll get some O-line help for you. We'll go in free agency, use some of that money, go get somebody in free agency, and we'll also draft a couple people and get that line short up. But this is what happens. So you're right. I think Joe Burrow may have to have a discussion with the team. Like, look, man, if I don't see anything happen in a draft or something, where the first 3 picks aren't O-linemen,
it's time to go, man.
I want out. Go ahead and get 3 first rounders for me. Get 3 first rounders for me. Whatever, but I don't want to be here. If I want to keep getting hurt, what's the point? I want to keep getting hurt.
Yeah. These players are more aware of their health now more than ever. That's why you can see him walking away from the game. I mean, he got his bag. Like, even
Yeah,
if he
more and
doesn't
more
fulfill
guys
the
are
contract, he got his bag.
more and more guys you now are seeing leaving before the age of 30 now. You see a lot of guys
Mm-hmm.
leaving before the age of 30 now. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to our week 3 picks. All
Just
right.
to let everybody know, I'm in the lead as far as picks. Last week I went 13-2. Trey went 11-4. Miles went 9-6.
Yeah. Yeah, I messed up, man. That just it was the Jag. You said it was the Jags and the Jets
The
game. Jags and the Jets, right?
Jags, Jets, and Pittsburgh. You
Yeah.
picked all of them.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's hope I do better this week. All right. Dolphins at Bills. What's today? Wednesday? Tomorrow, Thursday night football. Dolphins at Bills, 8:15. Bills. This is, I think, easy. Dolphins at Buffalo, and they're imploding right now. Tyreek still hasn't caught in a pass over 30 yards. But they say 30. Yeah, he hasn't caught a pass over 30 yards in like 200 days or something crazy like that.
Yeah, he had a good game last week, but I don't know if he. Yeah, I think he still didn't get that big play that he's looking for.
Is this?
So I mean,
Do we want to place a bet that this is Mike McDaniel's last game as the Dolphins head coach?
Oh, I'm giving him another one after this. Hold on, I think it'd be the. I think if they go 0-4, I think that's more likely than 0-3.
Okay.
Because it is the Bills.
All right. So we said we'll have to get Trey's picks later, but I said Dolph. We all think both said Bills.
Yeah.
All right. Bengals Vikings. And what would have been a really good game, Joe Burrow against JJ McCarthy. JJ is apparently he out? JJ's out for the next 3 to 5 weeks. So it's Carson Wentz against Jake Browning. Two of the best receivers in the NFL right now, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, and those are their quarterbacks.
Yep.
Jake Browning and Carson Wentz. I don't know how to pick this game, to be honest with you. Vikings are at home. I like their defense better. And they got Brian Flores as the coordinator. I'm going Vikings this game. And they'll probably definitely lean on running the football a lot more in this game as well. And I feel like O'Connell may find a way to definitely give Jefferson the ball a lot more in this game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Vikings too. I just think the Bengals can't protect their quarterback, and I think Jake Browning is an interception waiting to happen. Yeah. So, taking the Vikings here.
So that was that. Then we have Texans, Jags, 1 o'clock game. Texans at Jacksonville. This is another one. With how the Texans have been playing as of late, like CJ Stroud does not look good. However, Trevor Lawrence doesn't look better either. And I think Brian Thomas might be out, if I'm not mistaken, or he's dealing with something. So his top receiver threat is out. I'll go Jags. I'll go Jags on this one. I'll go Jags.
This is tough. I'm gonna go Texans. I just think defensively, I think the defense is gonna carry him. I just think so. I feel like the Jags are more prone to letting me down if I pick them, just because I don't know what they're gonna do without Brian Thomas. They look kind of bad with Brian Thomas. Like Brian Thomas is scared of the ball or scared to get hit. So I'm gonna go with the Texans.
All right, next Colts Titans, another 1 o'clock game. I'm gonna go Colts. The way they're rolling right now. Tyler Warren's rolling right now. They got Jonathan Taylor had 100-something yards last week. Titans suck. Like they're just bad. I'm gonna go with get Colts in this one.
I'm going Colts too. I'm gonna just keep it simple.
All right. Raiders, Commanders. Commanders are at home. Another 1:00 game. West Coast team traveling to the East Coast for 1:00 game. Max Crosby may give Jaden Daniels some problems. He hasn't been as electric as he was last year. And then being one of West Coast team, Pete Carroll. You have Brock Bowers. I think I'll take the Commanders at home, though. I'll still take Commanders at home. I think they eke it out. I think it's still a close game, but eke it out. It's a lot of trash games this week. My gosh.
You know, it's funny. We got a Commanders announcement right during this pick.
Oh, what happened?
They got approved for a $3.8 billion renovation of RFK Stadium. The Commanders are returning to DC.
Congratulations, DC. I that's actually great news. I think for football, they need to be in DC. Being in Landover, Maryland, has felt weird.
Yeah,
it's felt weird. Didn't feel right. It didn't. Go back to DC. I imagine that first home game. Ooh, I just want to tailgate. I just want to be in the atmosphere.
Big facts.
I don't even need to go to the
facts.
game. I'll just tailgate, man. I'll take Metro and walk over there.
Yeah.
I'll be there for that first game. That's gonna be phenomenal. They'll probably make that a Sunday. They might say that a Sunday night football game, their first game.
They have to. They really have to. I'm going.
No, usually do what Thursday night. They'll make it a Thursday night game.
Oh, first game of the season.
First game of the year.
NFL season.
Back 2030, back in DC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since 91.
Yeah, I'm with that. But yeah, for this game, I'm going Commanders. Just because they're playing the Raiders. I don't have any other logic to it.
Okay.
It's just the Raiders.
Rams Eagles should be a good game coming up. Matt Stafford's been Puka and the Cool has been going off, doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles have been finding ways to win these football games. I'll ask you about this, since this has been the topic of discussion all week about the brotherly shove. It was very clear, the one going into the end zone, that the guards jumped first. And they said that apparently that's what they do. The guards there's being taught that. Rex Ryan made a comment on it and said they're clearly being taught to do that. Both guards are jumping before the ball is snapped to get pushed first, and then they jump over. But a lot of coaches now and some other commentators who have watched it are saying that the referees need to do a better job of policing that play, because it's clear that they're jumping, they're false starting. And where they're lined up, usually doing these, they have referees on both sides, of the play. Is it something where they have to maybe get closer on the play or something if they're doing it, or is it going to be really difficult to officiate that kind of play? If they're seeing it from the air, we're seeing it from the aerial views, right? Them jumping off, it's very clear, but from the sides, I don't know. Like, is it something that the referees have decided that they're just not going to call, or I don't know? Like, what do you think? Like, how do they fix that? Because clearly it might be an issue all for the rest of the year. They keep doing that.
Yeah, I think. Well, this is the thing. Now, I wonder if this would be a part of that new thing they have where New York can dial in and be like, "Hey, y'all missed this call. Change it." I wonder if this is something that can be a part of that. Otherwise, I think the awareness now is going to have referees look out for it more, and I think they're going to call it, which is going to put the Eagles at a disadvantage for their brotherly shove. I think they're going to change their angles. They're going to do something to be able to see it, because this has gotten a lot of airtime this week, and I'm pretty sure the NFL office is aware, and they're talking to their refs about it. So I think it's going to change. I think you'll see the Eagles have to switch it up, or you're going to see them call the false start.
Yeah, because that was a clear. I'm not a Chiefs fan at all. The Chiefs lose every week. I'm happy, but they got to do something about that. They're going to keep doing
Yeah,
it. Like that's clearly a false start. So I'm like, you got to fix
yeah,
that. All right. So, Rams Eagles. So, this is gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a really good game. There'll be a lot of points scored in this game. I feel like. Rams on the road, Eagles at home. Eagles are what 2-0.
yep.
I think for script purposes, this game obviously has a lot more to deal with later in the season. So I'm gonna go Rams. Rams hand an L to the Eagles.
Okay.
Rams get their first real test. Not Eagles. I'm not sorry, Rams. Eagles get their first real loss. Something they have to we got to fix some things. Especially
Yeah,
because of the news of that the brotherly shove. I feel like they're going to be watching that play a lot more in this game coming up.
yeah. I got the Rams too. I just think they're going to put Jalen Hurts in a position where he's going to have to pass the ball.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out if he can make that happen because he has not looked great.
No.
So I think,
Brown's been missing.
yeah, I think the Rams take this. I think they definitely take this. And like you said, the Eagles got to go back to the drawing board, figure out what they got to improve on.
All right. Trash game. One of the trash games of the week. Falcons Panthers. I'll take the Falcons in this one.
What? The Falcons? You saying the Falcons are trash?
They haven't improved. They're 1-1. Yeah. I'm not going to say the Falcons are great right now. I mean, they did beat the Vikings 22-6, but JJ McCarthy has been playing that great. So I'm like, now if they get the Bills in October. They got the Bills, they got the Commanders, and they got the Bills. So I'm like, if they go and ball out those two games, or at least have a good showing, then all right, they're good at. But for right now, they're still trashed.
Yeah, I think Michael Penix is going to grow over the season. I got the Falcons just because the Panthers are trash. It's not worth talking about that.
Steelers Patriots. This could be a sleeper situation in this one. With how bad the Steelers played last week, especially Aaron Rodgers, did not have a great game. Jalen Warren did phenomenal running the football in that game, but it's very clear that their defense is still struggling. O-line is still struggling. Patriots, Mike Vrabel, look, they said they were going to be a sneaky pick this year. The Patriots were going to kind of be a sneaky pick this year, and I think they're playing at home. I'm going to take New England in this game. I think Mike Vrabel gets them ready. This is an AFC North team that they played a lot, especially Mike Vrabel has played a lot over the 20-something years he's with the Patriots. So, yeah, I think the Patriots take this at home.
Interesting. I'm right there with you. I think, Aaron Rodgers showed the real Aaron Rodgers. And I think the Pats offense, they can do a little something. I think the more they start incorporating Travion Henderson into the offense, the better off they'll be. I think Drake May can put up some numbers. I think he's going to continue to grow as a quarterback. And I think, on the Steelers side, they got to figure out what's going to happen after this loss because you can't bench Aaron Rodgers for Russell Wilson because he ain't there no more.
Right, he ain't there.
So, I mean, they're going to have some things to figure out after this game, but I got the Pats.
Okay. Next game, Packers-Browns. Take it to Packers.
Yeah, that's not even a question.
After seeing Myles Garrett on the sideline, gasping for air, because look, I'll give him credit. That man was going 110% every play he was out there. He was giving his all, but it appears like he's the only one doing anything on defense. As the Ravens dropped 41 on him, and with the run game that the Packers have with Jacobs there, and you still got, I think Tyler Kraft is going to do work against them. That man's been a sneaky tight end pick, I think, for especially for fantasy people. Tyler Kraft is out there. Go grab him. Like he's been really good for them with Jordan. And Jordan Love and them are like synced up. So I think Matthew Golden at some point is going to have a really, really good game. He hasn't had that game yet as a rookie, but I feel like he's going to have that game hopefully maybe this week. Matthew Golden. So I think I like the Packers, even though they're traveling to the Browns. I like the Packers here against Cleveland.
Yeah, I think it's no question. I feel sorry for Joe Flacco. Micah
Yeah.
Parsons is about to light him up.
Yeah. I forgot about
Packers.
Micah Parsons. And he had
Yeah,
to really do any edge rushes that we got, but yeah, Micah, yes, it's not gonna be good.
yeah.
Jets Buccaneers, another 1 o'clock game. Jets at Buccaneers. Yeah, Bucks in this one. Jets are just
Yeah, Bucks.
yeah,
Yeah,
more
self-explanatory.
disrespect. Broncos against Chargers, 4 o'clock game.
Ooh, love this game.
Division. This should be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Good defensive game. This should be a good defensive game. This is going to come down to quarterback play. I think in this one, I think Lad McConkey is dealing. He's questionable or probable. He's dealing with something. He's King Quentin Johnson keep up his catching ability? Can he keep it up? Catching the football? He said no. But no, I think it's going to be I think this will be a defensive battle for sure. Sean Payton, the good head coaches against each other too. Sean Payton against Jim Harbaugh. It's in Los Angeles. I'm with the Broncos. I like the defense a lot better.
Okay. The same defense that just gave up almost 500 yards to the Colts.
Look, okay.
To Daniel Jones, 300 yards.
Look. I think they fixed that. Okay.
All right.
I think they. I'm not saying they don't give. I'm not saying that they don't give up yards, but I think they get some takeaways.
All right. I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think they're a more well-rounded team. And I think the Broncos defense has some complications they're going to have with this team. I think the Chargers will finally give Omarion Hampton the ball and let him do work. I think they're just better game managers. I think the Broncos, they can do things on offense, but that defense has been leaking all year, Pauls.
All right. Then we got the Saints going up against the Seahawks this week. Now look, the last 2 games, the Saints they've only lost by 7 against the Cardinals and 5 against the 49ers. So they've been in these games, which is surprising. I didn't think they were going to be with the quarterback situation they got over there and stuff, that they weren't going to be in these games, but they've been in these games. Now they're playing in Seattle? Yeah, they're playing in Seattle at 4:00. Oh, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. Yeah, I'll go with the Seahawks because I like Mike McDonald. I think he'll figure out a way to shut that offense down. Yeah, I like Mike McDonald. I'm going to go with the Seahawks at home.
Same reason. I just think they're still a better team.
All right. 3 Seahawks, Cowboys, Bears. Now, I will think this is going to be another high-scoring game just because of the points that were scored. With the Giants, going to the Cowboys defense, I think they'll throw up a lot of points. Again, I don't trust that Cowboys defense. I don't really trust the Bears defense.
Yeah.
Dak's a better quarterback, though. They're in Chicago. You know what? I'm going to give it to the Bears. Give it to the Bears. Get their first win. Give it to the Bears.
I'm going to go Cowboys. I think that defense is very suspect. I think Cowboys fans need to stop saying that Trayvon Diggs shut down A.J. Brown when Jalen Hurts shut down A.J. Brown.
Right.
But I think Caleb Williams is the most inaccurate quarterback in the NFL right now, and I think that's going to hurt him. And I think that's going to make this Cowboys defense look a little bit better than what they actually are. So I'm going Cowboys.
Okay, Cowboys. All right. We got Cardinals 49ers. Without Brock Purdy, Cardinals going in San Francisco. Cardinals are 2-0. Both teams are 2-0. Cardinals beat the Saints by 7. Cardinals beat the Panthers by 5. And then the 49ers They beat. Who did they play? They played the Saints and the Seahawks. Both close games. So this isn't going to be a runaway by anybody. This is going to come down to the last possession by both teams. Brock Purdy's not the quarterback right now. Mike Shanahan. They're playing in San Francisco. I'm going to say, I guess I'll see back there, though. I'll go with the 49ers. 49ers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Cardinals. I think it's going to come down to the quarterbacks. That's what it's going to come down to. I think the Cardinals, they're a sleeper team. Granted, they've been blowing out these teams they should be, but I think they're a sleeper team. And I think, the quarterback's going to make a difference in this game.
All right, and last one before we get to our game, Chiefs-Giants, Sunday Night Football. Chiefs. Think the Giants?
Giants are 0-2. It's a battle of 0-2s.
But the Chiefs don't want to go 0-3, though.
Yeah.
They have more to lose going 0-3 than the Giants do going 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't know if they have anybody that can really cover Malik Neighbors at this point. And with the receiving core that the Chiefs have, without Xavier Worthy, they got Thornton there. He had a couple. Mahomes was throwing a couple deep passes to him. He missed on one, but he got a touchdown to him on the other one. It'd be interesting if Thibodeau and Abdul Carter, get to Pat Mahomes. I don't know. I still have to give it to the Chiefs. I don't think they go 0-3. They go 0-3. That's all we're going to hear all week. If they go 0-3, that's all we're going to hear all week.
The hesitation is crazy on the Chiefs right now. That says a lot about how we all view them. That there was that much.
They're not afraid of anybody.
Yeah,
no one's afraid of them like they used to be. No one's afraid of them.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs just because Russell Wilson is on the other side of the ball, and I don't trust him.
He's throwing moon balls like that, man. Like, no. He thought he was back in Seattle. He thought Tyler Lockett was down there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Chiefs. I think it's gonna be close though.
Okay. Let's hopefully that pans out. All right. Lions versus Ravens. Obviously, the Lions dropped over 50 points against the Bears last week. Ravens dropped 41 on the Browns. So I'll start off by saying this. I don't expect this to be a high-scoring football game. Now, the last time we did play them, we dropped 40 on them, 2023. Lamar went off. Lamar typically goes off against these NFC teams. He's like 23-1, 24-1, something like that against NFC teams in his career. A crazy stat. They don't have Ben Johnson there anymore coaching against this Ravens defense. They just had a really good performance against the Browns for the most part. Now, they're dealing with the similar characters, right? You're dealing with Jahmyr Gibbs. You're dealing with Amon-Ra St. Brown. You still got a stature quarterback in Jared Goff. One thing we know about Jared Goff and what he likes to do, or at least how they like to run offenses with Jared, is that they like to get him in a rhythm. Like last year and the year before, especially year before that, they definitely like to get it. There was always that stat. He'd be like his first 12 for 12, 13 for 13, on those first set of passes or whatever, like getting him in rhythm. So we're very paramount for the Ravens. I think kind of the same formula they had against Joe Flacco. Jared Goff does not move around a lot. Okay. Now I will say Marlon did get hurt, I think, at the end of that game, end of the Browns game with a groin injury. Not sure if he's going to be available, but TJ Tampa did come in and was pretty serviceable in that game, allowing Nate Wiggins and Awuzie. Now we'll see, obviously, also if Jair is a full practice this week. That would be nice to see if he's a full practice this week and he's out there. I think it's going to really determine how the Ravens have to assess this on defense, if they can have their full complement of cornerbacks out there outside. I don't know if Marlon plays. We'll see. Groins are tricky, when it comes to, being hurt and stuff. But with how the linebackers played last week and how they got pressure on Joe Flacco, I don't, and they're playing at home too. They're playing at home.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football blackout game. Corey just said it in the chat. Blackout game. They already showed the threads. The Ravens play with black uniforms on. And again, like I said, Lamar does his thing against these NFC teams. And while the Lions, last year and the year before were like the juggernaut teams, it appears so this year. Then they're not that much of a juggernaut. Forget about they dropped 52 points or whatever on the Bears. Forget about that. I feel like everybody's going to drop that many 40 plus points on the Bears this year. Like they're just going to. Because Caleb Williams is going to turn the ball over and give the defense and give the offense short fields for them to score points on. The Ravens, I don't think they're going to do that. They're not going to do that in this game by just giving the ball up. Lamar hasn't really done that. I would so far. So I think that Derrick Henry is a featured part of this offense until others said otherwise. Likely, if he plays, will be a very huge factor for them because he hasn't been available for the first 2 weeks. Do we see more tight end play? Out of this defense, Aiden Hudson is back. Obviously, he's not so far as dominant. He is coming off a pretty bad leg injury from last year. But that's going to be something like we said in the Browns game, like you said, something to watch. Where they line up Aiden Hutchinson, they line him up over to Falele and, on that right side of the line, how do they deal with that kind of pressure on that end? But how well they were to deal with Myles Garrett, who's an all-pro elite edge rusher, I think the Ravens should be able to handle the Lions for the most part. Jameson Williams does worry me as far as him taking the top off the defense. Some of the Ravens have done well this year. They really haven't let anything deep, like over behind them. They really haven't let anything get behind them, which has been great. That's what we've seen so far. They've only been kind of beat by these blown coverages, either with screen plays or something over the middle. That's kind of how they've been beat, but nothing over the top. So if they can kind of limit that, I don't care if Amon-Ra St. Brown gets 15 targets or whatever and 100 yards. If he's not making any chunk plays and that down the field and stuff like that, we'll take it. I'll take it. Keep the run game bit subdued. Don't let Amon-Ra St. Brown get any yak or whatever, and keep everything in front of you. I think the defense can do that. I think they'll be fine. And then offensive side of the ball, again, like I said, Derrick Henry. Do we see a Keaton Mitchell signing? Do we see a Keaton Mitchell sighting? Again, all 3 units got to play in unison. 60 minutes. I hope they just keep that in their heads, like from last week. Keep that week to week. 60 minutes of football, all 3 phases playing as one. Go win the football game. Go do what you do, man. Go do what you get. And you look at, and I know you tell you guys not to look ahead, but they have to. You got the Chiefs coming up. They're wounded right now. Like I said, but depending on what happens Sunday Night Football, if they go in there 0-3, Ravens are like, look, man, I know we lost that Bills game, and we do expect maybe the Chiefs will probably still be in the playoffs at some point this year. But at least the only thing we got to deal with now is the Bills. Move on from that. You still got to go beat Mahomes in them. So there's another tune-up game to get right for this week. Need to see another good performance from Zach Orr. He called a really good game against the Browns. Got to see it again week to week. I don't want another letdown. So,
okay. The Lions are scared of Lamar. They signed Malik Cunningham to their practice squad to simulate Lamar Jackson in practice. They're scared. Look, I think let's start with the defense. The Lions probably have a worse guard situation than us.
mm-hmm.
I think that was evident in the Packers game. It was evident in the Bears game, but it's minimized by the fact that the Bears are just trash overall and that they kept their defense out on the field so much. But I think their guards are worse than ours. So that means this is a big game for our big guys. Beaks, Travis Jones, Broderick Washington, Peebles. Like, it's a great time to get great performances from those guys. And I think you spoke to it earlier. The Lions like to get Goff in a rhythm. If we knock him out of rhythm, he's done. He's done. You start hitting him, have him start seeing ghosts. He is done.
Yeah, we saw the NFC divisional game.
Yeah, this isn't a guy that's going to carry a team. He is a system quarterback to the T. If you allow him to get knocked off his rhythm or get knocked off the game plan or feel uncomfortable, he's turning the ball over. So I think pressure is going to be paramount, in this game. I think Corey said it. Mike Green needs to be let loose, and we need great play from our interior line. That's going to be the key to this game. Secondary, look, you know what they want to do. They have one deep threat, and that's Jamison Williams. All right. Everybody else is going to work the middle to the sideline, especially St. Brown. He's going to work the middle to the sideline, high volume receiver. But the guy you need to be worried about taking the top off is Jamison Williams. But he's not a guy that's high usage. He's not high usage at all. He doesn't get a lot of targets. Most of those targets are going to Gibbs. They're going to St. Brown because Jared Goff really doesn't like to put the ball in the air that often. And they don't like him to put the ball deep too often. So I think defensively it's kind of like, Joe, keep everything in front of you, put pressure on Jared Goff, knock him off rhythm, get him to turn the ball over. That's going to be the key to the game. He can look real good or real awful. There's not much of a middle ground. He's just going to be one of those two things. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to do Jahmyr Gibbs things. I think we have to get to the ball. 11 guys are on the ball when it comes to him because he can make the first guy miss, but we need the cleanup guy to get there and in a hurry to keep him from busting out that big play. That's really offensively what they're going to do, and I think defensively what we have to do. On offense, it starts with the line. It starts with Falafel, Rosengarten, being able to hold off Aiden Hutchinson, and then us just using our playmakers to the best of our abilities. We need to get the run game going with Derrick Henry. Their defense isn't too big, so I think we can out-physical them, but we need to make our blocks. Falafel. We need to make our blocks. I think the thing about our run game is one guy's missed assignment can really cause a lot of havoc. Mm-hmm. And I think we see that all the time. So I think we need a healthy dose of Derrick Henry and then open up the rest of the offense where we're hitting Zay on the drags. We're getting a couple slants and posts out to Bateman, getting those two chunk plays to Hopkins, hopefully getting Likely involved. That's what we got to see offensively. We need to create room for Lamar just to cook. I think that needs to be the strategy week in, week out. Yeah. Make room for Lamar to cook. Because, if we get him in rhythm early, this can get ugly. If we get pressure on Goff early and get Lamar in rhythm early, this could be over. This could be like the last time we played the Lions where we ran away with it. Because Lamar started off so shaky last game. Mm-hmm. But he turned it on in an instant. So I would love for us to come out swinging as opposed to Lamar having to wait so long to get things going. I think get him a nice script early on. We're getting the ball to Zay, balancing it with Henry, giving him some RPOs, letting Lamar get out space, use his legs. I think we do that early on. We can get a couple scores early, unleash the dogs on Goff, and then really just run away with this game. I don't think these teams are too off from each other, but I think the Lions are more prone to folding than the Ravens are. So,
like Corey said, the last time we played the Lions, we didn't have Henry, so this will be the first time playing Henry. So they're not used to that, and that physical running back that Derrick Henry is. And I know after last week, I'm pretty sure he wants to get back to what he does usually for sure. But I think you made a great point there about Lamar just letting him cook in a sense, because with how he's been able to get the ball to just different people the first 2 weeks, Tez Walker, Taylor Allen Wallace, Justice Hill, Mark Andrews, D Hop, Zay, Bateman. He's getting everybody involved, everybody in the offense involved, and it really does appear like Zay's going to get more of the chunk stuff plays, but it does appear that he has the wide receiver room and the quarterback room have at least some kind of connection now, right? They're on the same page. There was like you did say, I think in that first half, we did see a couple that Lamar was trying to get to Zay, where Zay was supposed to do something. The routes got confused. I think Lamar thought he was supposed to run one route, and Zay thought he was supposed to run another. But they got that fixed later in the game. But yeah, I think the key for this one is we know what the offense I think is going to do. We know what the offense is going to do, and a similar situation with Aiden Hutchinson that you had with Myles Garrett last week, and kind of how the game plan against that. It's going to be on the defense, I think, for sure, in this game to kind of set the tone again, where they're going to have to make sure keep Jared Goff out of rhythm, blitzing. Like I said, Mike Green needs to go off, and making sure they rotate their cornerbacks around the right way, especially depending on if Marlon's not there. Because I feel like if Marlon's not there, they may move. They may try to move Kyle back into that slot role, because he does play that slot role pretty well. They might play him there, and it means they're going to put somebody else on the back end to help there, maybe Sanusi Kane or something like that. So it's going to be getting the personnel right. Now we'll see what the injury report says, but getting that personnel right is going to be very important, I think, for that game. But all right, scores for this game. I'll let you go first.
I think it's gonna be. It's not gonna be a high scoring game, but it's not gonna be low. Honestly, I'll go 28-21 Ravens.
I was going to do 28 as well, but I think they're going to hold them to 10. 28-10. And the reason why it's not higher is because the Ravens are just running the clock out at some point. They're just like, okay, they're just game's over. Like, I feel like it's close for a little bit, like through the half, like that first half. And by the second half, the Ravens just like take over. Like it's a wrap and go up by like 3 scores. And it's like, all right, so it's done. So, all right. We'll get Trey's score later and we'll see where he's at and everything. So, but yeah, I think that's it from us. We'll get ready for Thursday Night Football coming up. And again, Craig, congratulations to Commanders fans and DC football fans. You got football coming back in the next 5 years. So get yourselves right. You know, there should be a good time. Interesting to see what that stadium is going to look like.
Yeah.
3.6
It'll never
billion.
be the bank, but it'll be something.
Nah, you only got but so much space to work with. No.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They haven't won anything in DC since '91. So I mean, come on now. Like I said, their last Super Bowl was on VHS. Come on now. Let's get out of here. But anyway, that's it from us. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.